Welcome to Down the Middle podcast. How are you, battlers? It's just the usuals, just Joel and H here. H Moore, how are you going, mate? A little bit richer. We were just talking about before recording, a little bit richer this afternoon or this morning.
Well, this morning, yeah. Just a little sneaky $10 bet, won 130 off it. A couple of things went my way in the last 2-3 minutes of the added time. It's pretty good. If you sort of go through my
Champions League soccer multi battlers.
Yeah. Some of them head to head, and then some of them were over the total goals. If you go through my resulted sort of slips last week, you see a lot of one leg misses, and it's a bit of money there.
You did send a couple of them in the chat. You did send a couple of them in the chat.
I've been a bit unlucky, but that brings me back up. But yeah, so it was a good Thursday for myself.
Yeah, nice, mate. Very good. We lost tag on Monday though. For anyone that's following along, we've just started. Is it summer comp or is it spring comp? I don't know.
I think it's summer.
Summer comp.
We might have to get a bit of
big win week one. Huge win week one. Couple of battlers couldn't make it for week two, and we just got done. I'm going to take responsibility for that because I feel like I threw a couple of hospital passes, and that last one, that last try, I threw it straight over Paul Brady's head. Sorry, mate. Yeah, not my best.
Over the head and behind a bit as well.
Hey, although friend of the show, KT, did say Hayden was only about half a metre away from that ball. He could have picked it up.
Oh, there's absolutely no. Shannon goes, get on it. I went, mate, you're kidding yourself. There is no way in the world. But yeah, that's right. Well, we don't want to win every game because then we didn't want to go up. So
that's true.
And we only lost by one. So
yeah. So anyway,
no reserves as well.
I will take the rap for that. I'm going to start off the bench week 3. Hopefully we got some subs next week. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Mate, NRL is really our focus at the moment. Finals footy.
Bread and butter.
We're gonna go through last week's results. Couple of good games. We're gonna go through this week's games that are coming up. Obviously, before we look to the grand final next week. We've got a bit of golf later on. We're just talking as well. Tipping comp is pretty much all wrapped up. The tipping comp is pretty much all wrapped up. Haven't heard from the super coach. Well, I was going to say loser. He hasn't reached out, so I think he's lost. I think he's lost his ring, and he's almost lost his what do I call it? Consolidation prize. So leave that with us, but we'll have to have a chat with Mitch there. Last week's games, mate. What do you think? Surprised by the results? Or the results, I guess. The scores?
More the scores, I think.
I think the scores for me.
Yeah. I think we both got 2 from 2. Feel like there was, I think the only people that would have taken the Roosters were the Rooster supporters. But yeah, it was definitely...
Funnily enough, quiet from one particular Roosters supporter this week. He got into us the week before and he's gone quiet.
Got in, yeah. And... before we get into footy, I seen him on golf Saturday morning. So obviously the wounds were still very, very fresh for him. He was waiting to tee off. We had a cart, and as soon as we're driving from the first, obviously, to the 10th, Brian's driving, and you just see me. I stand up, and I'm just like, "Go Melbourne, 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 Melbourne," and he knows who it is, and he lost his cool, and he was just going, "Mate, I'd rather lose by 1." And blah blah blah. And I just absolutely teed off and said, "You guys just a shit." And just boom, just yeah.
You are an absolute stirrer. I love it.
So, but yeah, very quiet from him this week because he's a loser like the rest of us now.
Yeah, mate. I tell you what, by the time it gets to this time of year, that's why I'll put the Dragon shirt back on, because there's now, what is it, 14 other clubs that are in the same boat as me. and we're all losers now, baby. So who cares?
Exactly right.
Looking at the results, again, I'm with you. The scores surprised me, not necessarily the results. So the first game was the Friday night game. We got Storm, Roosters, 18-13. And really, Storm really only winning it in the last 10 minutes, last 5 minutes, with a try from Will Warbrick in the 78th minute, and then Nick Meaney converting. So, Roosters were in a fair bit of control for a long period of time there.
Yeah. And obviously a couple of calls didn't go their way either.
Yes.
So obviously
there was a bit of backlash.
And he's been stood down this week. He's not reffing one of them.
I think
but obviously
you don't
get every call.
You don't get every call. You can probably feel for the Roosters supporters, especially when who's the ref's boss? Is it Graham Annesley?
I think so, yeah. I think he's there.
Then he, stands down Ashley Klein. I'm like, that just I'd rather them not make a statement and just you know what I mean? Because it just goes, sorry, Roosters, we stuffed up. Well, that doesn't make me feel any better as a Roosters supporter.
It's like every week when something happens, they come out and say, "Oh, we got it wrong." It's like, well, what's the point of saying it? You're not going to give us the 2 points, or
you know what?
Advance the next weekend to finals.
Yeah.
Just have in-house talks. Go, rightio, mate. We're going to give you a rest this week. Then,
but even like there's only
put him into the grand final.
Oh, but look, would he be reffing the grand final? Probably not. I don't know. But there's only 2 games. So realistically, they're going to share it around. There's more than 2 top quality referees. I don't know. I just think it just almost it just adds ammo for anyone that wants to bash the referees week to week.
Oh,
they did make a bad call and now we dropped him. Yeah, great. That's okay for a player because there's 20 other blokes in the squad that week. But there's one referee out there and you just told us that he had the control and he stuffed up. That doesn't make the referees look very good. Yeah, I don't know. So
that is the problem, I think.
I'm a bit I'm not real happy with that. Anything coming out of that game, really? Not, I'm really not looking at the Roosters. How do you rate the Roosters season this year then, seeing as they're done?
I think it's probably, I think they would have taken it at the start of the year, I think.
Especially after that middle patch.
Yeah. So I think it's a pass mark. They did finish, before that game, I think it was 6 wins in a row. So that's pretty good. I think the middle bit definitely did cost them a bit of ground because obviously the comp was so close as well. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they go next year. They've got a couple new players in already for next year.
I saw something today that they're
letting a couple of people go as well.
Well, but also they're potentially changing their mind on letting Suoli'i go early. They want to try and hold on to him for a little bit longer, from what I read today. You never know. You never know.
I don't know. You look at the 6 weeks, I go, yeah, he had about 2 good games.
Yeah.
I don't know. So you got Dominic Young coming in, so you have Tupu on one wing and Dominic Young on the other. So
that's right.
So yeah.
That's huge. That could be.
Unless you put Suoli'i in the centres or keep him in the centres kind of thing. But then you've got Manu, Billy Smith.
Billy Smith's been playing quite well this year.
Yeah.
That'd be huge. That'd be huge. Dom Young coming down. Playing outside of or playing, I suppose, alongside.
I'd say it would be Manu. It would be Manu because, or maybe they might move Tupu to that side and then.
Yeah.
But and Spencer Lino, obviously after he's done with his Penrith commitment, he'll be going for the Roosters. But yeah, I think it's a pass mark. What about yourself, mate?
Yeah, I was just going to say it's only a pass mark for me. They've got to the second week of the finals, which is, I think, for a club like the Roosters, probably where they want to be every single year. if not week 3 at the very least. They probably, that middle part of the season, injuries, suspensions, those sorts of things. I don't know. It kind of you got to put it into perspective and say that played a role in why they didn't get so far, but also every other team had injuries and suspensions as well. So for them to only come
you're not going to have a
7th,
perfect season.
No.
Perfect season, no injuries, no suspensions.
Yeah.
As you say, everyone goes through it.
For them to come 7th and then only get to the second week of the finals to get beat by Melbourne, I think they'll be disappointed, and rightly so. I think, though, in the bigger scheme of things, it's not too bad. It is a plus. So
exactly.
Anyway, Storm advance to this week. The second game last week was the Warriors against the Knights. I was actually pretty keen to watch this game, and it just turned into, almost a bloodbath. 40-10. Mate, the Warriors were goddamn awesome.
Yeah. I think the 10 games, or the 9 or 10 game streak, caught up to them the week before against the Raiders, how they had the slow start, then came back. And Adrian O'Brien did say that in the press conference. He goes, look, we got away with last week because of the opposition, obviously, are not to the skill as the Warriors. And he goes, we started slow this week. And he goes, he knew, after about 25 minutes, I knew that we weren't going to come back.
Yeah.
So I think...
Well, 25 minutes, it was
the tank,
18-4 or something.
Yeah, and I think at that stage, the tank's probably empty, trying a bit harder. Then, obviously, I think they went in just before half time, or just after half time.
After, yeah.
But then the Warriors kicked back into gear, and then, yeah. But from what the people are expecting at Newcastle, I think it's probably an A+ this year. I think people were
100%.
thinking he might have been the first coach sacked, and now he's got a contract extension.
Yeah, look, a lot of people would have tipped the Knights to come in the bottom 4 or bottom 5, whatever you want to look at, and they've come in the top 5 and won some pretty good games. I think I said it just as the finals were starting. They needed to lose a game about 3 games ago. They needed that little hiccup. And you never want to lose a game. When do you want to lose a game? Never, right? But they needed to lose a game and reset and do their thing, or we talked about resting players and all that sort of stuff. They needed that, but they couldn't because they needed to win all those games to get into the position they were in. So, look, I'm hoping, this is my thing, I'm hoping that the Knights finishing now, second week of the finals, I hope they don't do a Cowboys on us. And we get all this hype and whatever. Dom Young's moving. Callum Ponga goes back to fullback. They're still sorting out their halves and whatever. O'Brien's got the contract extension. There's a bit of hype. There's all this excitement. I hope they don't fall away in 2024. Because
when Newcastle are going good, it's good for NRL. Obviously, even when they have been going bad, the crowd still turn up. But they've
got that support. I think the Johns brothers had brought a lot to Newcastle and the brand and that sort of thing. But I just worry what is 2024 going to bring for them.
Maybe too much expectation. They can't. You go after a 5th, you go, rightio, let's just get top 8 let's just make finals again and then see what we can do.
I think that would be, even if they can limp into the finals into 8th or 7th position, I think that's what they should be aiming for, because again, they won 10 in a row to get into the final, or 9 in a row to get into the finals, or get into a very good position in the finals. Warriors looked good though, eh?
They did, mate. Sean Johnson obviously missed the first week, and then back to this week, and they were pretty much the main difference. Especially him being in New Zealand helped a lot as well. Sold out crowd, massive scenes over there. But yeah, so it's very much what the NRL needed, I think, as well, especially to get New Zealand back into it, kind of thing. Sort of,
either of those teams winning would have been good for NRL, but I think definitely the Warriors, after the last 3 years with COVID and this and that and playing whatever, yeah, definitely very, very good. One thing I did notice, try scorers was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different try scorers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever you want to. Is it 5 backs and 2 forwards? Is that right? Ish. 4 backs and 3 forwards. What does Dylan Walker? What did he play?
Utility.
He's
So he's
utility.
probably
a forward.
Technically.
If you know, I know that we'll talk about this week coming up. I know they're coming up against the Broncos, but they scored all over the park. That to me is like a little bit worrying if I'm the team that plays them this week, because I'm like, we don't just have one target to focus on. You know, shutting down Newcastle would have been shutting down Callum Ponga. Shutting down the Warriors probably is shutting down Sean Johnson, but also they had options and they played really well as a team, not just throw it out to Wateni Zelezniak and let him score 6 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely.
So, anyway.
Nah.
Do you want to look at this week?
Yeah, we'll move straight into the prelims, mate, with the first game tomorrow night at 7:50. The Penrith Panthers versus Melbourne Storm out at a core stadium. So NRL stepped in and went, you're not playing at Penrith. I think that's pretty good because you want more fans. Fans at the ground. Penrith only hold 22,000.
Have you seen today? There seems to be, you can almost get free tickets.
No, I didn't see that.
I saw a screenshot today, and then I did see like a little article. In a certain section, you could click for a couple of tickets, and it was $0.
Bit of a glitch, obviously.
Well, I hope it's a glitch, not a shit. We got to fill this stadium, because then it's.
I don't think that's the. I think they would fill it out. I think more Penrith people can go. Supporters obviously from around Penrith or New South Wales, but yeah, I think it's a good decision by the NRL to move it there because, look, 22,000. You know, I know you want a prelim, but you've already won the premiership 2 times. Get more fans there, more Melbourne Storm fans as well. It's a bit easier for Storm to get out to a core than it is to Penrith.
I think his semis have to be played at a city venue. Yeah,
100%.
Sure, the first 2 weeks, whatever. Play at your home ground. I don't care. 100%. You get like even the Sharks. What does the Shark get? 13.
Yeah, 12. I think just 12 over 12,000. And that's max capacity because of what the changes coming around. But it's like you earn it right
to play your first game.
It's like it's always the teams that win. So it's like the Roosters win. So it's like, well, guess what? You should have came 5th or 6th.
Yeah,
and absolutely. You would have been, and you would have played at Allianz, and then you wouldn't be winning, would you? It's just if you want to play your home ground, make it come 1st, 2nd, 5th, or 6th.
Yeah.
That's your pick.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree with you. I like the move into a more city, Sydney venue rather than going out to Penrith. Yeah,
definitely. And I think there's only one change for the Penrith team, and it's Jerome Luai. He's been confirmed that he will be starting.
And Tago.
I was going to say, I'm not quite sure if Tago played last week.
I think the NRL app is saying that he is back in. Yeah. So, look, Penrith are full strength.
Yeah, definitely. And then Melbourne, Jerome Hughes in, but they still have. Oh no, they've only got Anderson.
They're full strength too. This is two top teams. This is 2 full strength teams. Doesn't look like really any injuries to any key players. Those back lines are probably as good as they are going to get. And those forward packs are pretty much the same. They're the blokes that have been playing all year, for the most part. Nelson Asafa-Solomona, I like him coming off the bench. recently, these days, whatever you want to say.
I think with this game you have to as well, because I feel like you look at it and go, rightio, when Spencer Lenu comes on, you go, rightio, Nash, you go on. You just play chess. Go, you make a move, we're going to make a move as well. Don't go early or don't go too late as well.
Yeah.
You got to, as soon as he goes on the next set, you have the ball, get him on. You just, you don't want to leave your boys out there for 5 minutes later and then he does something good.
Absolutely.
So,
my man Tarek Sims played pretty good last week too, mate. He actually looks pretty good in a storm kit. I didn't mind watching him. So I think he might be big too, again, as a bench player, experience, finals, rep games, experience. I think it's probably pretty good for the Storm to use him. Where do you see it going?
As much as I like the teams and they're both sort of full strength, I look at that 1 to 5 and Penrith just obliterates them. Sorry.
Say that again, sorry?
I'm not even going to say it again because I actually mucked it up as well. I just look at the position, I just go, Edwards is better than Meaney. Taruva is better than Warbrick. Warbrick can have a stinker.
He can have a stinker.
Tago's 10 times better than Seve, sorry. Crichton, Olam has got a mistake in him. Like he's a good defender. He'll put pressure on you.
They would beat each other for different reasons or lose to each other for different reasons. But yes, Crichton is very good.
Yeah, and Brian Toe, best winger in the game.
That's true.
Yeah. So with my prediction, I think Melbourne haven't looked good the first 2 weeks either. They were pretty scrappy against Brisbane, pretty scrappy against the Roosters, got past the Roosters obviously. So being said that, I'm going to go out on my limb and go Penrith 13+.
Okay, because I was just about to say I would go Penrith. I'm looking at Sportsbet. The line is 12.5, and I was going to say,
I did see that. That's
I'd probably take Storm at plus 12.5 at $1.90. I think it's almost I think it's almost a bit rude that the Storm are $4.75. I think they should probably be a fraction closer, maybe closer to $3 or something. I think we'd probably give them a little bit more credit. Panthers very, very short at $1.19, but I am going to lean towards the Panthers.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say 13+ though. I'm going to give the Storm the 12.5 start. Might even pick my own line, give them 10.5 start.
Yeah. I could obviously definitely see Penrith winning by 6, but I just think
I could also see Penrith winning by 30.
Yeah. Just going off, they decimated the Warriors at home.
That's true.
Obviously no Sean Johnson, but Melbourne haven't convinced me. They haven't looked good in both weeks, and I just think maybe I think they might be the Newcastle Knights of this week. I think they might just run out of steam. Just if they start slow and Penrith get 2-3 quick tries, then I'll be like what you said. Then I'll be going, let's move that line 20+. Like
right out. Yeah,
it's right out. So
absolutely, I'm with you.
It's Munster, Hughes, and Grant. They're the key. But
they just haven't made it happen.
And that's what I mean. They Munster is just he gets going too late. He just like
he gets going once he's got the shits and he's like, give me the ball. I'm just going to make stuff happen. And he only gets it about 80% of the time too when he starts doing that. But that's one thing I've noticed. I'm like, Munster, he's just not worked it out, and then too late in the game he goes, right, come on, come with me, boys, and then it's too late. Anyway, I'm with you, Panthers.
And then moving on to the second game, the Brisbane Broncos versus the Warriors, 7:50 on a Saturday. I think it's pretty poor. So it was pretty poor by the NRL and Channel. I will be putting Channel 9 into this as well, because the NRL went, technically it's gonna kick off at 9:50 in New Zealand time.
That's crap.
And as much as it's a Saturday and let your kids stay up, 9:50 for a kickoff so I'll probably say 10 o'clock 10 o'clock by the time
it'll be 10.
Kicks off.
It'll be 10.
NRL said, right, we don't mind changing it, and then Channel 9 go, no, we're contracted at 7:50, 7:30, or 7 o'clock to start our coverage. We're sticking to 7 o'clock. It's like, what are you going to be taking off at fucking 5 o'clock in the afternoon?
The news or friggin' Sydney Weekender or whatever it is.
Exactly right. I think this game should be 4 o'clock. I think 4 o'clock our time, 6 o'clock New Zealand time, or maybe.
Mate, even if it's a 6 o'clock game, our time, and an 8 o'clock game,
yeah,
New Zealand, like, mate, I am all for get the games earlier in the day. I commented on that thing on Facebook the other day that you commented back to me. Mate, the grand final should be at 6 o'clock. The grand final should be at 5 o'clock.
I agree. I just wanted to say no.
He's been a dick. But like, these are the games that we want eyes on the screens. Like,
exactly right.
And again, we owe it to New Zealand to give them something. I am not watching sport at 10 p.m. Well, I will, but
depending on what sport it is.
If I'm a Warriors fan, I probably am. Like, I absolutely would be. But it's a pain in the ass. You've got to wait all day to watch a primetime game that's supposed to be on at primetime, and you've got to wait all day and all night. Think about the Warriors fans. They're going to be pumped up, probably going to be nearly half asleep. Like,
the game's not going to finish until 12.
Until midnight. That's overseas. Like, that's proper America or European sport. That's what we're, not for your own. I don't know. I hate it. I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It shouldn't be at 8 o'clock anyway. It should be at 6 o'clock just generally.
Yeah. And going with the teams, I'm pretty sure both teams 1 to 17. Obviously, the ins and outs are still there, but that's there because they're on the extended bench.
Yeah, there's nothing really.
So, how do you see this game going?
I'd love to call an upset. I would love to call an upset, but I do not see it happening. Look, although looking at, again, you can only read into sports bet odds so much, but they got the Broncos $1.26, the Warriors at $3.90. They got the Warriors shorter than what the Storm were. It's fair enough against Penrith, but I think Broncos are near just as good a team as Penrith at the moment. I think we'll be seeing a Broncos-Penrith grand final, but I'd love an upset.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think, obviously, I think it's the key position in battles. I think the fullback, obviously, that can go either way. They're both very much good players. The 7, Adam Reynolds, the 2 old boys, Adam Reynolds versus John Johnson, both injury playing players. No, only Adam Reynolds did the premiership. I don't think Johnson's won one. He hasn't.
No, he wouldn't.
He's only been with the Warriors and the Sharks. So
two shit teams. So no, I don't think he has.
No. And then the battle of the 13s as well. I think they're the two. I think they're the
I was
three.
just about to say, I'm like, don't look at the 9s. It has to be the battle of the 13s.
Oh no, yeah, the battle, yeah, the
Tohu and Patrick.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think they're the 3. I think whoever wins them positions. I think 1 and 7 are a bit more important than the 13, but yeah, I think Broncos 1 to 12.
1 to 12, yeah.
1 to 12, yeah. I think Suncorp is a massive advantage. Definitely. I think you're going to have 45,000 screaming Broncos Queensland fans.
And the other thing, again, we talk about finishing on the right side of the draw. You look at these 4 teams now in the prelims: New Zealand, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne. It was a huge advantage to be on the right side of the draw, to get your home final. Look, Penrith, obviously, West Sydney, but they'll have far more supporters at a core. It's obviously not their home ground. But like the Broncos Warriors game, it would have made a massive difference if it was over in New Zealand, I think.
100%.
And the Storm, if they were playing at Amy Park, you'd back Storm. I'd back Storm. You might not, but I would. Look, I'm going to go Broncos. And I will be, every time the Warriors look like scoring, I'll be cheering on the Warriors.
Yeah, I want the Warriors to win, but then I don't want them to win because I know Penrith will smack them in the grand final. I don't want another last year grand final when it was over after 15 minutes.
It was last year's grand final was actually not very good. Yeah. I would actually like Broncos to win because I think they'll be more competitive against Penrith as well. And I think that will be a really good grand final. There's so many different ways that it could go. Again, I'd love for the Warriors to get there. We talked about the last couple of years, but would they compete against Penrith? Probably not. No. The Broncos think they'll win. I would love for them to get there because I think they'll compete against Penrith. Would love to see the Storm win so that Penrith aren't in the grand final. You know what I mean? Like there's so many. Yeah. Don't know. Definitely. We'll just have to wait and see till midnight.
All right, we'll see.
Midnight Saturday, we'll know.
10 p.m. for us.
Midnight New Zealand time. God damn, that is the worst. I would not be staying up till midnight. I'll be going to bed. That sucks.
Yeah. I think all the bandwagon fans from New Zealand would probably go to bed. I think.
Up the wires. That's me.
Yeah.
So we've got Penrith and Broncos we think will be in the grand final. Cool. We've got only the 1 week of the final series for the women's premiership as well. A couple of similar teams for what's been the final series in the men's. First game Sunday. They're doing a doubleheader on Sunday. Knights Broncos at McDonald Jones. I'm going to back the Knights. Knights are pretty good. They finished first and have been playing quite well. Team lists, we haven't really talked about the women this year, but team lists looks pretty strong for both teams. They look pretty standard.
The only problem I got with these, right, is I know it's their first week of finals. You want to give them the home team advantage. You're only playing. I'm sorry, these should be curtain raiser games before the prelims.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that makes it tricky, doesn't it? When obviously it's.
I know you don't want to take the Roosters and Titans up to Brisbane. I get that, but it's like have that at 5 o'clock. I think everyone would. I think a lot of people would still go to it. I don't know.
I think at the moment, you probably could. It would probably disgruntle a lot of the women, like the players, because where's our home final? But it's also like, hang on, we need eyes on your game too at the moment, and let's do that.
How many people are going to be rocking up to this game?
That's what I mean. In 10 years' time, when you can get 20,000 people to their game the same as what you can to the men's.
And you've got 16 teams, you're going to have a full finals.
That's what I mean. No dramas. And it actually makes it so much better because you'd have games bloody everywhere. That'd be awesome. You could go to a whole weekend of footy and it could still be Thursday through Sunday with the games spread out. Perfect. You could go women's, men's, whatever. But I agree with you at the moment that you probably would just make sure that the Broncos don't go up to Suncorp and play with the Broncos, because they did finish on the other side of the draw.
Then you might see that, and that's what I would switch it around. I'd go radio. But yeah.
Oh, but then again, the Titans going up to Suncorp, I don't know. Yeah, it's so hard because whatever. But I think at the moment you just need bums on seats. You need eyes on the game. I agree with you. Rather than even play both of these games in the one venue on Sunday.
Yeah.
In Sydney, at Allianz.
I don't think coming to the women's game, I don't think home ground advantage is as big as the men's.
Also, Knights going down to Sydney to play with the Roosters against the Broncos Titans, there would be a home ground advantage. You would have more supporters for the Knights and the Roosters than what you would the Broncos and the Titans. Maybe. But
yeah,
they should either be at the same venue or the pre-games. The pre-games.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. I'm tipping Knights. Again, I'm still on the Knights bandwagon, so I'd like the Knights to beat the Broncos. The Roosters against the Titans, they look pretty full strength too.
I feel like they're going to be two convincing games, to tell you the truth. I know the betting sort of has $1.55 and $2.45 for the Brisbane Broncos and Knights. But I think Knights 13 plus and Roosters 13 plus. I don't know. I think they've been the two better sides all year.
That's probably not a bad little multi.
I know that Brisbane have got a couple of internationals and Origin stars in their team, but this Newcastle Knights side is pretty young.
Yeah,
they won it last year as well.
Yeah.
I think they beat Parramatta in the finals. Then I think the Roosters won it the year before.
Yeah.
I think, or maybe the first year, I think. But yeah, I think they're two pretty simple games. Maybe not, if it's not 13 plus tonight, and the Roosters will win. And then there'll be the curtain raiser obviously to next week.
Yeah, I'm with you. Knights Roosters. There you go, Eso. You got something to barrack for this week and next week. Put your jersey on, brother.
But even before we move on, actually, with sticking to the women's, Abby Church, mate, she got Player of the Year at Parramatta.
Did see that. Shout out to local battler, a Camden Rams prodigy. I saw that. That was pretty good. She's
and I think she's the most capped as well now. I think for Parramatta.
She might be. I haven't played 2 years in a row there.
Yeah, I wouldn't quote me on it, but I thought I seen something. I thought I seen something about it, but
I think she played every game this year.
I think she nearly played every game last year as well.
Most last year. I think she might have missed the first one or two before she got on a roll. Good on her. She's been playing good footy. And that's nice to have that come out. There's a couple of girls coming out of Camden now. There's the two girls in the Dragon squad. Abby's in the Eels squad. So that's pretty good. And all out of the Rams. Oh no. Macy played out at Oakdale, but then played for the Rams. So yeah, good on them. That's mad.
Well, and this is another thing. I go, you're looking at this, right? And it's like, you get one for Parramatta, two for Dragons. I'm like, what are the Tigers doing?
Well, that is a good point. Like, West Tigers at Campbelltown are the local team. How have they not gone there?
The local feeder club. Like, go watch these women every Saturday or Sunday, depending on obviously when they play. Sometimes they have a standalone. Go watch Narellan. Go watch Camden, Oaks or Oakdale, like Campbelltown City.
Yeah.
Like, you can, and most of these women would jump at to go, look, we might give you like a training trial, see you go pre-season.
Absolutely.
Obviously, work commitments are pretty hard, obviously, because it's not a full-time job yet, like for these women.
But especially, you know, I saw an article this week. A lot of players have come out and said, no, we don't want to expand the comp yet. We want to keep it as is for a little while.
For a couple of years. Do what they did already. And then
because of the talent pool.
Yeah, it's just
especially someone like West out of Campbelltown. You got Group 6, which is probably a pretty strong group as far as New South Wales is concerned. We've got such growth out here. Girls rugby league's growing. Go and watch those 16s games. Go and watch the 18s games, like you just said. You know, Camden Rams, their 18s I think they just lost the grand final to All Saints. Go and look at those two teams. Who can we get in as a development player? Because especially All Saints, they're there. they're 100 meters away. They live in Campbelltown probably. The girls at Camden, they're not traveling that far to be able to go and play. Like, it just seems, it's unless they're doing most of their stuff out of Concord, fair enough. That makes sense. But there's always been Group 6 and West have always been connected. How come we got three players that we know of from Camden playing elsewhere?
Even the men's side have pushed away from the Group 6 way, and they signed, like, you're looking at the men, going back to the men's, they signed all deadbeat oldies.
Yeah.
Look what happens when you give Jerome Buller a season, and look at him, he was their best player this year, and no one even heard of him 8 months ago.
Hey, he got a contract extension too. Did we already talk about that last week? Maybe till 2027, I think it is. So that's pretty good.
Did he get player of the year as well, or did that?
I think he might have got something. I think I saw him get something. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, look, maybe we look into that in the off season, H, and we come up with some stats.
Yeah,
I'd like to know. I'd like to know how many players from Group 6 or how many individuals from Group 6 are playing.
And even going back to the first grade for the men's, with Thelmy beating Camden 28-26 in the grand final. Thelmy had 3 former NRL players. They got Curtis Scott, Jacob Loco, and Tim Simona. Obviously, Curtis Scott, finding out on the game there, he's actually signed with the Cowboys.
Oh, has he?
So that's fine. I think that's fine on the radar. I don't know if it's actually been fully announced yet, but he signed on with the Cowboys. I don't know if it's a training trial as well, or they've given him only a 1-year contract. But yeah, he's
was he playing out here because he got into strife? Was that him down in Canberra?
He got in strife, but then he got off strife because then they found the police were in the wrong.
Yes.
But then I think he got strife again.
Was that
he's been playing out there for 2 years, I think, with his girlfriend. I don't know.
Details. Last year too,
But he's been out there for 2 years. Jacob Loco's been out for 3 or 4 years. He's just stayed quiet. Tim Simona, I didn't even know Tim Simona played for Thelmy this year. I did try and get near him at the end of the game and go, "Hey, you want to sell me your jersey?" You know, like, sort of bring up them old wounds of selling the club merchandise and just, rattle his skin a little bit. But
you are a dick. He was the bloke that was flogging the speakers and everything, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the one.
The boom boxes.
Yeah,
putting him in the back of his car.
Yeah,
good on you, Tim.
But yeah,
sell me your jersey. I like that. That's good from you.
So, but yeah, be interesting to see.
You idiots. Yeah. Anyway, there's that. That's footy for this week. Again, we're talking about tipping comp. We've pretty much got a winner locked up. Can't be beat.
4 points. 4 points ahead of fourth. Obviously, me and Shane are second and third. So, and obviously, you don't get 4 rounds anymore, obviously, because it's pretty easy to pick sometimes. So he's been right four with a maximum of three points available. So pretty much, really, technically, we will declare him the winner, but he might not be the winner of the comp. Overall,
that's true. Unofficially, he's probably won himself a prize. Shout out to Hayden.
But yeah,
we'll be in contact to confirm after this week because yes, you're right. He may not be the overall comp winner, depending on who he tips this week. So we'll see. What else we got? We got some golf this week. We'll quickly touch on that.
We've got a little bit of golf this week with Live Chicago. We've got the big golf next week.
Ryder Cup starts next week, Battlers. We will have a segment on that.
Definitely.
Keen for that.
And it's good. I think it's good timing as well. It's a bit easier. I think what actually is the time in Italy, because that's obviously where it's being held.
World clock.
Florence. It's 12:57 there right now. So they're 8 hours. That's beautiful timing. They're going to be so I think the Ryder Cup will be on
Oh, so it's only 1 p.m., 1 in the afternoon over there now.
Yeah, they're only 8 hours behind us.
Okay, so they'll be teeing off. Oh, like yeah, in
10,
the afternoon.
I was going
If
to
they
say,
tell,
man. And some of them are going to be early. Obviously, the last day, they're probably going to be teeing off at 3, 2
yeah,
p.m.
nice. So after work, you'll be able to watch.
Yeah.
Or
So,
next, I think it's next Saturday or Friday.
Friday. No,
Friday it starts.
Friday, because they're same day as us
Yeah.
still.
So
obviously.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can watch of an afternoon. Beautiful. How goes that?
And it's a long weekend, so we get to watch it all.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
hate
that's
that
good.
because the final day is sometimes the most exciting day and you can't watch it.
That is
So,
true. That is true. We'll be able to.
100%. So we'll definitely have that. But going back to this week, Live Chicago at Rich Harvest Farms. It's a 7,408 yard length. Looks pretty nice.
I'm still on the shitty Live Golf app, which doesn't work. Oh, this is
the
sorry,
main
I'm just blowing
talking
up.
point. You can't even get the overall.
No, you can't even look at anything.
Because this is the third last event, but I'm gonna have to go on to their socials but I think if a couple of scenarios play out, our boy Cam Smith can win the overall already.
Yeah. That's what you were saying before. I'm trying to find that on the app. Why can I not find that? Season standings. That's what I need. Here we go. Players. So Cammy is leading at the moment on 170 points. Taylor Gooch second, 149. Patrick Reed, 120. So we're hoping that.
So I've got it here. So Cam is the champion in Chicago if Smith wins and Gooch finishes out of the top 3.
Yeah,
he wins. If Smith is second,
even with 3 events left.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, 2 after this. So it'd be two after this. So this is the third final.
Yeah.
So if Smith finishes second, Gooch has got to finish out of the top 9. So it's a possibility, obviously. But if Smith's third, Gooch has got to finish outside the top 14, and Reed doesn't win. I think really the only one I could probably see happening if Smith wins and Gooch finishes out the top 3. I think that's the only way. Other than that, I think it will probably roll on.
That's cool. Cam Smith has won twice in the last couple of events. Bit up and down. Started pretty bad, 26th, 29th, and then went 4th in Adelaide, 7th in Singapore, comes 2nd in Tulsa, 11th, 12th, came 1st in London, 35th at the Greenbrier, right? And then 1st at Bedminster. Taylor Gooch has had 3 wins. Remember, he went back-to-back Adelaide, Singapore.
Yeah.
But yeah, had a lot more sort of 15s, 20s, 30s and stuff. Patrick Reed hasn't won, but he's still coming third.
I was about to say he's crept up on me. I didn't think he was that consistent.
He's had about 4 or 5 top 5s, so that obviously made a bit of an impact. Because I thought Brooks Koepka would be maybe higher, but he's had a couple of lower finishes as well. So look, that's cool.
He hasn't. His 2 last events have been pretty bad, haven't they? 38th and 41.
Yeah,
definitely.
The team's standings are a little bit closer in points, so I'm not sure what sort of points they get. Oh, well, obviously they get more points because there's not as many teams. 4 races, Torque and Stinger, all pretty close.
Tell you what, looking at Stinger's sort of continuation, I think they've probably been more one of the consistent ones. Really, they're low.
3 top 3s in the last 3.
Yeah, and they got 4, 4, 4, 3, 10, 1, 2, 9, 3, 3, 3. So, yeah, and I think the points finish on the amount of total. I think it is. I
think so. Yeah.
No, absolutely wrong. So you come first, you get 32 points. Second, 24. Third, 16. So There you go. So that's
Do you get anything for outside of third? Yeah, you
you get
must.
12 points for fourth, fifth, eighth, sixth, 4 points, seventh, 2 points, 8 points,
Yeah, right.
ninth onwards. Yeah, shit.
Mhm.
Um, hopefully, I think the top five is pretty much settled. Hopefully, the Rippers can get the six. Yeah,
Rippers,
unfortunately.
freaking Rippers.
But the thing we got to and look out as well is the relegation zone as well. Um,
I think Jed's outside relegation at the
mate,
moment,
he's only got 3 points. So I think the bottom
and
four, go out,
and
excluding captains. Captains cannot get relegated. So you got Siwoo Kim, sorry, Chase Kepka, James Piet, and Jed Morgan. So I don't know with Wiesberger there.
so not
I don't know.
Westwood, but maybe yeah.
Not
Because
Westwood, not
I saw
Conmar.
Seaweed King.
So, and some of them haven't been,
Some
some
of
of
those
the
guys haven't
people,
played ever.
yeah, because some of them have been stand-ins as well.
Mm.
So yeah, it'd be
Jed,
interesting
come
to
on,
see.
Jed. He's only on 3 points. Jed, what are you doing? You're playing every week. You're doing nothing.
Yeah, and I think he probably would have got his points all from the 17, I think.
Probably.
Yeah,
That's all right.
17th, you get 3 points from 17. So yeah.
He's only a young fella, mate. He's just doing his best. He's out there
But
making
the
some
thing is
bank.
though, then you don't come back next week. You gotta go play on the Asian tour and try
Mm.
and get automatic.
But he still would have made a bit of money. He would have made bit of money this year.
I think he makes money more off the
Yeah.
team
Well,
finishes versus
he
obviously.
would have made money off they won the last one, didn't
They
they?
won, yeah, they won the last one. So
So like
and he was
yeah.
pretty instrumental in that actually. I think he shot 5 or 6 under in the last round. So
We ended up finishing 27th, so yeah, he probably didn't do too bad. But what do you reckon? I reckon Cammy might be back. I reckon he might go back to back.
it's interesting. I think most of these guys have had a play off. With sort of not many tournaments being able to be played by them.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. It's hard to say because none of it. When
Haven't
we've
seen any
been
form.
sort of, you haven't seen any form yet. So I think I don't want to go camp because he's trying to do that. It's shit.
Brooks won't be
Um,
playing, will he? No. Brooksy won't be playing.
I think
Because he'll be
I think he has to. I think he has to. I don't think you can miss. You can't miss it. I don't think.
so he's gonna play this week, then fly over to the Ryder. He's been practicing with the Ryder Cup boys.
Well, some of the boys played last week in the four net championship. Like Max
Oh, do
Homer,
they?
Justin Thomas, they played. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I think with the contracts, unless you're injured, you think you got
Fair enough.
to. I could be wrong. They could maybe give him a break. Obviously, he's been one of the star boys, so just rightio, just go over to Rome or whatever.
Well, he's also a team captain, so I suppose he probably would have to play.
But so yeah, I think with that, I might go. I'm going to go with Dustin Johnson. I think he's going to try and prove a point to go. Not picking for Ryder Cup, obviously, be captain's pick.
Yeah, I like that.
Him, Bryson, and then
They'll be out for blood. Yeah, I like that.
definitely Sergio. I think Sergio could be a sneaky.
Maybe even Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed's probably one of the best US players.
Even Sergio, he made a last ditch effort to actually try and make
Yeah,
the European team. He said he'll pay his $750,000 in fines from the DP World Tour. But they said, no, you've got to be a member of the DP Tour for longer than 12 months. But technically, because you're not a member.
it's so dumb.
And to tell you what, one person that really stuck up for him was John Rahm. He
Absolutely
was
would.
pretty pissed off that, okay, you're not going to pick him. That's all right. but they even say we should have him around for like, I think
Yeah,
him and
because he's been there before. He's done it all before.
I think he's the most. I think he's the
Most
points leader
capped.
for Europe.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
captain, even the points won during the Ryder Cup. But
Wow.
mate, it's they're all meant to be united, but I don't think it's going to be united. And then with the team events, mate, I'm going to go with Stinger GC.
I'm gonna go Talk. Talk will be looking for that last push. I'm gonna Cam and Talk. There it is.
Dustin and Stinger for me, mate.
Okay, love it.
Yeah.
All right. That's us.
That is us.
We're not going to look at racing yet, battlers. We might look at racing in the next couple of weeks if you're lucky.
Yeah. Might give you a sneaky tip or two.
If you've got a tip for us,
exactly right. Lead us in the right direction. Definitely.
Feel free.
Exactly right. Free advice is good advice, I reckon.
Shane doesn't help us out, so anyone else can.
No, exactly right. But yeah. Well, even before we leave, mate, we'll post up on our Spotify. Give us 5-star ratings, leave a review, share it. YouTube down the middle. Get on there. Give us subscribe, like everything.
It's all there. You got to remember to put the notifications on your Spotify so that you know when the episode comes out. Because I don't always upload at the same time. I'm not like that. I like to make it a little bit random. I like to keep you in. So make sure you put your notifications on.
Definitely. Sponsors very welcome. I'm going to touch out to someone tomorrow. I got one I might try and I'm going to message them and see what happens.
Nice. I like that.
But,
you hear that, battlers? That's good.
Exactly. So you've got some ideas. Might push out a couple.
Very good.
Get it out there.
Very good.
If you want to sponsor us, give us some free shit. We're happy. Happy to do that. We'll even plug you for free.
Mate, we will give a plug. If you need a plug, we will give you a plug. No dramas.
100%. Especially next year, mate, we're going to be sort of talking about off air. Next year, we're going to ramp things up a bit more. Bigger and better year.
There's a bit coming. Stay tuned.
Yeah, as obviously we've probably got a couple more episodes left in us, and then we might take a little bit of a break.
Well-deserved break.
Well-deserved break. The two of us. So yeah. But
sorry, did you say someone's on a break?
Yeah, someone's been on a 6-month break, but so that's all right. But yeah, hopefully bigger and better next year. Keep improving. Hopefully, a couple more sponsors on board. Try to move this thing along, I reckon.
Let's do it. All right, battlers. Up the wires. Hey, the pars. Hey, actually, before we go, did you see Storm Reserve team training in Panthers jerseys?
Yes, I did. I seen you post. No, you tagged me in it.
Maybe. Do you like it or not like it?
I don't like it.
I don't like it. I think that's too in your head.
It's a jersey. You're not looking at the jersey.
Well, maybe you are, but it's just like, mate, if you can't get enough, go India.
You should be able to look at someone.
That's what I reckon. Anyway, we'll leave it on that. Up the wires.
Up the pars.
See ya.